It's hard to believe that 2 years ago, almost to the day, we were in the very early stages of the coronavirus pandemic. Do you remember what the grocery stores were like at that time? Lines wrapping around the store, out the door, down the sidewalk. Shelves were empty. I actually remember seeing that the only frozen vegetables left in one of the cases was onions. You can only do so much with bags of frozen onions. And of course, we all recall the strange shortage of toilet paper. There was so much fear in our world about what was going to happen, so much fear about not having what we needed and not having enough, that one of the symptoms of that fear was hoarding. People taking more than they needed, people having more than enough to get by. And because of that hoarding mentality, that I need more mentality, made it difficult for people who were actually in need to access the resources that they required. It brought out the worst in many people. But those days, those weeks, those months, even now, we are seeing that this is bringing out the best in humanity too. There were so many awesome stories about people sharing what they had more of, more than they needed, with strangers and neighbors. I remember being a part of so many front porch drop-offs, picking supplies up from one person's house and delivering them to where they were more needed. Our resources and our abundance was shared. Those were the Samaritan days. Today, in our devotion from Grace Unbounded, we read about the Samaritan who shared his time and his resources, his healing skills, and his network of people to care for the stranger that he found by the side of the road. He didn't let fear of what might happen or what he might not have get in the way of generosity. The devotion goes on to remind us that God's word is like water. As God's word works through our lives, our communities, and our nations, it enables growth, rejuvenates communities, and then is recycled again. Even with God's word, we do not own it, but we recirculate it. That is our call. Again and again, we are offering blessings to all who receive it. We can embody that Samaritan by remembering that everything that we have is a gift from God that is meant to be shared. We can shed our scarcity mindsets and trust God to provide. As you go about your day today, look for ways that you can share your abundance with someone else.